Alrighty then, today I thought I'd do a review of the Pebble Steel. It's the current watch that I'm wearing, and I want to start by saying I really like this watch, and think at this stage it's definitely worth the money. However, as you can see, I have three of them. I'll explain why later in the video, because I don't want to sell it on a negative. So first things first, for those that don't know, Pebble is sort of a smartwatch brand that prides itself on producing high quality smartwatches that aren't necessarily fancy battery drainers that just look pretty. I'm personally getting about 5 days usage per charge, and that's with quite regular updates, using the apps, using the run programs that I've installed, etc., and custom watch faces that change. The important thing being with these watches, the face is always on, which they call an always on e-paper display with LED backlight, that you can basically shake your wrist slightly and it lights up more, so it's more obvious if it's dark or whatever. But this is it on here, as you can see, with the standard backlight. So this is how bright it is all the time, and as you can see, the angles of viewing are pretty good in my opinion. I'm currently running a Star Wars watch face that every minute or so the quote changes and the picture changes. Obviously it's black and white. You can buy Pebble watches that are coloured faces, but I prefer these for a variety of reasons. So going through them, and I suppose talking about the features a little bit, you basically have access to thousands and thousands of different watch faces, and also different apps. So you can go into the menu using the buttons and scroll down and select different watch faces that you download off the App Store, which is on your phone, which is what it syncs to over Bluetooth, and anything your phone receives will be sent here, which is basically called your notifications. So you get notifications coming in from messages, etc., what's going on. So yeah, basically you have a lot of freedom with that, and it suits me. I'm a paramedic by trade, and I like to have a second hand. So I actually, up until recently, had a specific paramedic watch face that had a second timer that was really handy for taking people's observations, as we call them. They also have the option of a variety of apps, some games, some useful, some not useful, I suppose. Personally, I use mainly the fitness related apps and the sleep tracker style apps, and I've had lots of success with them so far. You can also control your music on your phone, and a variety of other things in your house that have Bluetooth connectivity. So lots of people will use like a controller for their garage door or whatever, if that's what you're into. It's compatible with iPhone 4S and above, assuming that they're updated to iOS 8 and above, and it works with Android devices running 4.3 Jelly Bean and above. So basically most watches out there this is compatible with these days. They quote 7 days of battery life and water resistance to 50 meters. However, it comes by default with a charging cable, which is magnetic, that plugs onto the side here, and a leather wristband, which is not waterproof. So even though the watch itself is waterproof to 50 meters, if you have the leather watch, then you probably don't want to go swimming. I actually have a product called Snow Seal, which is for when I'm skiing in the mountains. It makes leather waterproof, so I've actually used some Snow Seal on this band to make it more waterproof, but I still don't swim with it on. That being said, I also have the matte black metal wristband, and that is an extra $10, I believe. Not quite as comfortable, still quite comfortable, but I prefer the leather on my current daily driver, I suppose. Another feature is that it has a vibrating motor, so when you get a notification, it will vibrate to let you know that you've got a notification, and you can also use that as an alarm, which is very handy if you don't want to wake other people up with your alarm. The vibrating motor is pretty good, I think, at waking you up. The size is 46 millimeters by 34 millimeters by 10.5 millimeters, so it's quite compact. Relatively similar to most smartwatches on the market at the moment, in my opinion. The band by default is 22 mils wide, which is good, and it weighs 56 grams, which is quite light. I mean, it feels very sturdy and substantial in the hand. Apologies for that momentary delay. My camera ran out of space. But picking up from where I left off, the watch feels really sturdy in the hand. It seems well built. The buttons are all nice and tactile and feel like they're good quality. And in general, it feels really well built. But that brings me to my last point, which is why I have 3 of them. The first 2 I was sent did not work correctly. They both had glitching screens and a lot of issues. However, the Pebble support was really good. I sent them a picture of the issue with the serial number of the watch. And they offered to send me replacements for free for the first 2. I think it's a shame that they couldn't give me more information on how I might be able to fix the problem. However, their response was just, we'll send you another one straight away. So as far as their support goes, they've been really, really helpful, getting back to me within a couple of days every time I've emailed them, which is all I really expect. But still a little bit worrying that 2 out of the 3 did not work correctly. That being said, the model I have now that does work works really, really well, and I really think it was worth the money. So I suppose that's it. In short, I like the watch. It's a watch that's smart. It's not a phone on your wrist like some people are going for these days. It gives you notifications, it's got apps, it's got a clock, you can tell the time. It charges for a short period of time and gives you 7 days of battery. So I think that's great. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, chuck them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Cheers.